Assalamu alaikum and good greetings. So today we'll be watching a video titled The Sobering Final Words of a Christian Leader. This is by What Do You Meme. I'm not sure what this will be about really, but I'm interested with the title. Without further ado, let's watch.
Biblical scholar Michael Heiser has sadly passed away after being recently diagnosed with stage 4 cancer. Before his death, he left a note that I think will help us to better reflect on what it is that we want out of our lives. Now, if you don't know who Dr. Michael Heiser is, he's probably best known for his book, The Unseen Realm, and for his extensive work on what the Bible has to say about the spiritual reality of our world. But personally, I learned the most from his work on Jesus and the Trinity in the Old Testament. Now, I did have the pleasure of meeting Michael a couple of times, and the last time that we talked, he was asking me questions about the Black Hebrew Israelites, and we had a really good discussion about it. But last month, Michael made a lengthy Facebook post in preparation for his imminent death. He wrote, "Dear friends and ministry colleagues, I wanted to post a short summary of where my cancer diagnosis has brought me. The short version is that I'm at the end of the road in the late stage 4 of a very aggressive pancreatic cancer. Nothing to date has reversed the tumor status. It has now invaded the upper GI and stomach areas, causing slow, uncontrollable bleeding. No one on my medical team has a solution or knows of one. During the latest endoscopy, an effort was made to cauterize as many of the bleeding points as possible to at least slow the bleeding. In essence, I'm bleeding out at a slow rate with no solution. I am presently not in pain, but am very well, a condition that will worsen until I am gone. Since there are no further treatment options available to us, we have chosen to spend my remaining time at home. We're guessing, we have not been given a number. That means that I'll live anywhere from a week to several weeks. I know this news is depressing, but you should all know I will die happy to have served the Lord and you all in the ways I have. God has been very good to us, gifting me in discernible ways, and I think just as importantly, giving me a heart for the lay community, all of you. I desire nothing more than to empower all of you to study Scripture more deeply, to unlock the Bible for you in ways inaccessible to all the scholars. This has brought me a special joy. Let's turn to the future. As you all know, when I pass, I will join the family of God and His council, to which all of us believers presently belong, but not yet in its fullness. This is what awaits.
What does that mean? Family of God and His counsel.
Me, and I am glad. We will see each other in the future in unimaginable, glorious ways. Now, I want to pause here to mention something that I think can give us some perspective. One of the things that stuck out to me the most when reading his post was when he said that even though this news may be depressing, he would die happy knowing that he got the chance to serve God and God's people in all of the ways that he has. This made me think, and not just for myself, but for you as well. Michael was fortunate enough to know that his death was nearing, so he had the opportunity to look back on his life and contemplate what were the things that brought him the most joy in his life. Now, for us, we may or may not have a warning close to our deaths that we're nearing the end of our lives. And so if we're given the time to look back on our lives, what kind of life will we be looking back on? The fact of the matter is that we'll spend the majority of our lives serving someone, whether that's ourselves or others or God. And as countless studies show, we'll get the least amount of lasting joy from serving and pleasing ourselves. Dedicating our lives to pleasing ourselves has big promises of sustained joy, but ultimately fails to deliver. This is why I genuinely believe that if you want to make yourself miserable, then live to please yourself and no one else. I'm not sure that anyone on their deathbeds looks back with joy knowing that they lived a selfish and a self-absorbed life. That's a life that isn't ultimately fulfilling. You have a far better quality of life if you dedicate much of your life to serving others. We were designed to serve others, which is why our mental health tends to be better when we love and we help others regularly. But unfortunately, this also comes with a catch, because people can be ungrateful, mean, selfish, hypocritical, unthankful, and so on. And so if you make serving others the ultimate thing in your life, the thing that justifies your existence, rather than finding joy at the end of your life, you can find yourself bitter and angry for dedicating your life in service of people who may not even give you the appreciation that you believe that you deserve. And this is one of the reasons why I believe that serving God can ultimately give you the most meaning and joy when looking back on your life before death. One of the reasons why is because the gospel message can actually enable you to serve others in ways that's both sustainable and satisfying. The gospel message tells us that we're only saved completely and utterly by grace, and grace means a free and undeserved gift. And naturally, we're too afraid to seek out and admit and even acknowledge our absolute worst faults and traits. But given the gospel message, we know that we're fully accepted by God in spite of all of the wrong things that we've done in our lives, and this gives us the permission to look into those deep, dark places without the fear of being disqualified from God's acceptance. This allows us to be radically honest with ourselves about our faults and our shortcomings, and as a result, the more that we're able to acknowledge and realize the things that we've done wrong, and the more that we realize just how much that we've been forgiven for, since we know that we didn't deserve his forgiveness and his mercy, but he still gave it to us anyway, it makes it that much more easy for us to be able to extend that same forgiveness and mercy to others who also don't deserve it. Our grace bank continues to be renewed every second of every day, since God's grace is never ending. So in other words, we're rich in grace, and it's because of this we can afford to extend grace to others far more often and far more freely than we otherwise would be able to. Understanding this enables us to live life in service of God and others, and to do so with lasting joy. That's the type of life that we want to look back on at the end of our lives, as Michael was able to. So with that being said, I'm thankful to Michael for not only showing us what a life lived in service of God and others looks like, but also reminding us of what it means to live a life that will bring us lasting joy. And with that in mind, what kind of life do you want to look back on at the end of?
Okay, yeah, so that is okay. Of course, a title of the video is not necessarily that accurate, generally speaking, anyway, right? So it's not really a final words, right? Did he already pass away or not? I'm not sure. But because this post is in January, I'm not sure how far afterwards. Right? It would be interesting if that's actual final words, meaning on the deathbed, on the final moment, what would you say, right? Because what would you say looking forward, knowing you will die soon is one thing. In the face of death is totally a different thing, right? I'm not saying anything with regard to this. I'm just saying because the title, I thought it would be that final words. Okay, that's one thing. But of course, generally it is something that we should always think about, thinking of our death that is inevitable. And in Islam, that's, you know, what's the word? Zikrul Maut, right? Zikrul Maut, remembrance of death, is something that should be something that we do daily, because ultimately that will be our destination, and whatever we do now is to prepare for that. What he said about, I think that the chronology is quite interesting in the sense that for Christian, because we don't deserve, we get what we don't deserve, hence we should extend that to those who don't deserve as well, right? Something like that, in terms of giving grace, giving forgiveness or something. From Islamic perspective, I think the first part is not really in that line, right? But still we are commanded, yeah, to deal with others in the best manner, to forgive others, not because they deserve it, but because we want to please Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that is the command, etc. So the output seems to be that there are many parallel there, even though the narrative is not exactly the same. Yeah, so may us all, you know, on facing death there and then, you know, may us all know that we have made all the right choices leading to that point, and hopefully, inshallah, you know, because now is the time to make the right choices, so that there and then, you know, inshallah, we can go without any regret. Thank you for watching. See you next time.